Hi guys, this is my topic that I'm talk about is about Christmas. There are three things that I want to talk about. One is about rejoicing in Christmas, and the second is reflection, deep reflection about Christmas, and three is repentance. These are things that I want to talk about. Why Why do we talk about rejoicing? Why do we wish people a Merry Christmas? Because Jesus came to the world to build the kingdom of heaven on earth. So, and to get rid of sin. What is sin? It is basically what I defined before. Or sin is a thought or an action that violates heavenly law and enters into a reciprocal relationship with Satan, indirectly or directly. So he came to get rid of sin, but then he was unfortunately he was crucified, and the Christians and the people had to go through a very difficult task. So let's talk about why do we rejoice? We rejoice of the birth of Jesus. Think of Jesus as life, where he was born, and how God prepared a nation to send the Messiah. So rejoice is very important because we got to understand from God's point of view. From God's point of view, he was happy because all the conditions had been met for Jesus to be born. Like for example, the time when Esau and Jacob united, that created a foundation of substance, and that foundation of substance gave rise to Jesus because a nation had been prepared, called nation of Israel, prepared by God to send the Messiah. So we think about it. We think about how God prepared this nation. So that's this nation of Israel to to prepare a nation, to prepare Jesus to be born on earth. So let's dive into the subject of why we should reflect on this very important subject. Let's think of it. Actually, sometimes you can think that if Adam had not fallen, it was Adam's birthday would have been Christmas Day. But really, because Adam fell, Jesus came as a new Adam, as a second Adam, to create the kingdom of heaven on earth. But unfortunately, he could not have family, and he was crucified. So let's think like once the fall occurred, like once Adam and Eve betrayed God. I mean, they lost total consciousness of God in their hearts. So, so this brought about restoration because God immediately after the fall, God started His restoration work. His restoration work started with Cain and Abel, but again there was a failure because we know that Cain killed Abel. Why did Cain kill Abel? Because God warned Cain. He said, "Sin is couching at your doorstep. If you do well, would you not be accepted?" No, Cain Cain did not listen to God, and he smote his brother. He killed his brother. And then again, the providence was prolonged to a righteous man. No, it was 10 generations from there, 10 or 12 generations that God had to prepare a nation to send the Messiah. Now, Messiah can come, or Christ can come. There's two conditions. One is a condition of faith. You would have absolutely a condition of faith. And the next is the condition of substance. Is a unity of an evil side that the good side has to unite and bring him back to God's side. This is what happened in Esau and Jacob's story, and also which should happen as well as in Cain Abel's story. So let's look at when God prepared a righteous man, Noah. or 10th generation righteous man appeared, Noah. What did Noah do? Noah built an ark. And where did he build an ark? An ark is a big ship. And where did he build the big ship? He built it on a mountain. And people ridiculed him. Said, why you build an ark on a mountain? It doesn't make any sense. If you build a ship, you build it on the beach. But he built it on a mountain because he knew that the flood will come, and he had absolute faith in God. So he built an ark, and as God warned him that a 40-day flood will come, and Noah's family into the ark, and the 40-day flood washed the world away. So Noah had this faith, and actually when the 40-day flood was over, and when Noah sent a raven. A raven, actually, it is a symbol of Satan because it was a time that the raven symbolizes that Satan was looking for a condition. God had wiped out sin, but then he needed to wipe out sin in the hearts of men. So how can he do it? He had to work with Shem, Japheth, and Ham. So what did he do? Noah first himself sent a raven out, and then he sent a dove. Then he waited for 7 days. Then he sent a dove, and the dove came back with an olive leaf. So first time when he sent the dove didn't come back. But when he sent the raven did not come back. But the raven was going to and fro from the ark, and he was not. He didn't come back really the ark, but he was roaming. So it was like a symbol for Satan. Satan was looking for a condition so that he can claim mankind again. So when he sent the dove the first time, the dove came back. So then he sent the dove the second time. When he sent the dove the second time, the dove came back with an olive leaf. And later on, he sent the dove back, and the dove never returned. So 7 days he looked again, and then he realized that the dove didn't come back. So that means that the ship has come to rest, and the flood had ceased. So then what happened was in the story was that Noah was first a shipbuilder, but suddenly he becomes a farmer who prepared. Who grew a vineyard, and he got drunk one day, and he will lie naked in his tent. So when he lie naked in his tent, Shem, and Ham, and Japheth. So Ham saw his father's nakedness, but Ham instead of covering his father's nakedness, he called his brothers and felt ashamed of his father. He felt ashamed of his father, and he multiplied that shame by calling his brother, and he covered his father's nakedness. So by doing that, what did he do? He actually created a condition for Satan to invade, because he should not felt ashamed because of the shame that he felt of his father. Satan was able to invade him, because when Noah got up of naked, he cursed him. He said, "You'll be a slave, or your descendants will be a slave unto your brothers." And again, the providence was prolonged again till the coming of Abraham. So God is preparing the people to send Jesus, the Messiah, that we can have the first Christmas, a beautiful Christmas. But unfortunately, it is again mankind failing, because he's falling prey to Satan's sin, Satan's temptations. And this is the reality that we face today as well. I mean, this kind of truth that we aspire to, it doesn't come. It comes from a special person who was able to go through such suffering to give this truth, as is Rev.Moon. So when we think of it, we think of what happened to Abraham. So finally, after another 10 or 12 generations, it's the equal to the time span. Like God sent another person, Abraham. Remember, Abraham's father was a idol maker, and it was Terah. Terah was an idol maker. But anyway, God chose Abraham, and what happened? Abraham was asked to make an offering. He cut the goats into cut the ram into the and if failed to cut the birds into, because cutting the birds and cutting the ram and the she goats, it really represents dividing good and evil in an offering. So what happened was that a deep sleep fell upon Abraham, and when a deep sleep fell upon Abraham, you know like birds of prey came and devoured on the offering, and God could not accept that offering. So that way, Abraham offering was a failure. The first offering that means the foundation of faith was a failure. So God again asked Abraham to offer something big. Because God can work with Abraham because of the successful foundation of faith, the successful offerings of Abel and Noah. So finally, also God asked Abraham before the offering, said, "Name the star, count the stars in the sky, and so will be your descendants." And so in a way, Abraham then later he offers something much more bigger to his heart, his only son Isaac. Now, Isaac was really 12 years old when he participated in Abraham's offering at Mount Horeb. And actually, Sarah, his wife, in the Bible says Sarah was actually his half sister. So same father, but they had a child when she was 90, when she was 100 years old, and she laughed at Abraham. She laughed at God, actually. She laughed at God and said, "Now, how come I can have a child?" So God said, "No, you will have a child at 99 years old." And that is why they named the name Isaac. Isaac means laughter. And she had a child called Isaac before she had a child called Ishmael to a maid Hagar. But anyway, Isaac was the central figure in Abraham's offering, because God prepared Isaac and also made Abraham to offer made Abraham in his heart. Was willing to offer Isaac, because his love for God was amazing. I mean, that's why you can understand why Jesus says that you should love me more than you love father or mother, anybody. That's why the priority was Abraham was correct. The priority was to love God with all his heart and with all his mind, and Abraham did that. Abraham really loved God. That is why he was willing to offer his son. Even at a late age, God gave him his son. So he actually bound his son, and also the son cooperated. Isaac cooperated with Abraham because he was 12 years old, and he knew what Abraham was going to do with him. And finally, when Abraham was to strike the child, the God said, "No, Abraham, don't do it." And he saw a ram stuck in a bush, and he offered that ram. He and Isaac offered that ram, and God blessed Abraham. And because Isaac united with his father's foundation of faith, Isaac was able to inherit that foundation. If Abraham had successfully successfully succeeded in his first offering, I think Isaac and Ismail would have been as a situation to make the foundation of substance. But unfortunately, because Abraham failed that offering, it was down to the second generation actually the third generation. So when that offering was made and when they were blessed, then later on we had the story of Esau and Jacob, who really made the foundation and the foundation of substance was successfully done, and that way created the foundation for the Messiah. And Jesus came to the tribe of Judah. So when we look at this whole situation of history, this is called providential history. I mean, if you have a study, if you can look at the success, the thing that happened in the central history, you can see that there is also success in the peripheral histories. So one such incident is the uh, time of Buddhism. That Buddhism was going to the West, was going to meet the Messiah. But unfortunately, when Jesus crucified, he went the other way around to the east. So the God is preparing people to build the kingdom of heaven on earth, and it is happening if we study history. And so when we look at the story of Abraham's family, that's why in the Bible it refers to the God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. So let's Lord of Jacob, or they say God of Israel. So let's look what happened in the story of Isaac. Then Isaac really basically he established the foundation of faith. His son Esau and Jacob were to establish the foundation of substance. We see that Jacob tricked his brother in the birthright, because he valued the birthright, but Esau did not value the birthright to a lentils of soup. And then what really occurred his brother was wanted to kill him, because Jacob tricked his brother in the lentil soup and asked and got his birthright. And also because of the cooperation of his mother Rebecca, he was able to flee to his uncle, that is Rebecca's brother, Uncle Laban, and find wives. The first wife, he was strict. He was strict in giving Leah, which was not a very beautiful woman. What Jacob preferred the second daughter, Rachel. But then Uncle Laban gave him Leah. But then he had to work another seven. For 7 years he worked. For 7 years he worked for Leah, and so 7 years he had to work again for Rachel, and Uncle Laban gave him Rachel, and another 7 years for the things that he earned. So Jacob made that foundation. 21 years in exile in Uncle Laban's listing. He created the foundation of faith, and on exile. Then on the exile he comes to meet his brother Esau. So when he comes to meet his brother Esau, there's a wonderful thing happened. Like Esau, he sent all his flock in front of them to greet his brother. So his brother was waiting to kill him. But later on there was a change of heart in Esau. So when he saw his brother, he saw the face of God, and they wept, and they cried, and they united. So that was the story, that when Jacob and Esau united, because Esau was raving mad to kill Jacob. But unfortunately, even unfortunately, they united, and then basically they were blessed. Esau was blessed, and then Jacob also was blessed because before he went before he went to meet his brother, he at the ford of Jabbok he met a man, and he wrestled with that man. Some say it was an angel that he wrestled. So he wrestled with a man, and then he dislocated his hip, but he refused to let the man go before daybreak. And when the man said, let me go, then he said, you got to bless me. And he blessed him with the name Israel. Israel means the one who perseveres with man and God and prevails is Israel. Then he was blessed with a name called Israel. So Israel became Israel, and he came to meet Jacob. It was Israel who met Jacob, met Esau, and they united, and finally Israel went his way, and Jacob went his way. Actually, Esau's descendants was actually King Herod. And Herod was a descendant. Herod was a descendant of uh, of Esau. That was in Jesus' time. So God is working to send the Messiah, send His chosen one. See how much God has worked so much. And we think of Christmas and we think, it's a wonderful Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't understand. They don't want to understand. But this is a simple message that God is working. God, we rejoice and be faithful to the Messiah, to Jesus who came. When Jesus, Father, in Jesus, at the end he had to sacrifice his life. His physical life he had to sacrifice. It was not a prejudice. It was a bad condition, bad condition that the central figures that were prepared could not understand. The first 2 years of his ministry, was to make the kingdom of heaven for people to believe in him. And it's like the in the book in Deuteronomy chapter 28 says, if you be the head, if you obey the covenant, you be the head. If you disobey the covenant, you become the tail. So what happened? They disobeyed the covenant. They could not believe in the covenant of Jesus. They believe in Jesus, and then they could be the head, but they did not believe in Jesus, and they became the tail. So this is a very sad story, and that is why we in Christmas we had to have very deep reflection. We had to reflect on what God has made, what God prepared. Well, every time man has failed, many people say, "Oh, God knows that man will fail, man will do this." No, God knows the possibilities. He knows the possibilities, but when things go wrong, His heart is broken. I mean, we also can say in a limited sense, we also know the possibility. We can fail, we can succeed. And if we succeed, we know that there's blessing. If we fail, we know that there's curse and it's going to be problems. So that's the way God works. God wanted mankind because God gave man total freedom to obey or to disobey. And man preferred to disobey, to align himself to Satan, the disobedient angel, who could not fulfill his role because he became master. So we think of the God's preparation when he prepared Israel, who is Jacob, to to send the Messiah, and from Israel's descendants, a person prepared. I mean, sometimes I think that what should have happened with Rachel and Leah's children, but it did not happen because Leah's children, we say that 10 were born from Leah, and two were from Rachel, the beloved wife that Jacob wanted, because Benjamin and Joseph were born to Rachel. But the Messiah did not come from Benjamin's line or Joseph's line, came from the line of Judah. And that's interesting because Judah is the one that really saved Joseph from being killed because he objected the two other 10 brothers who want to kill kill Joseph, and then he said can sell Joseph, and finally Joseph went into Egypt and he becomes a Pharaoh's counselor and becomes Pharaoh in the end. So, but whatever the history of history of Jesus' birth was is amazing, and unfortunately, people don't understand these stories. Even Christians don't understand these stories. It's only the divine principle can explain those stories and clearly make people realize how much sorrowful God. God is not a happy God. God is a sorrow. At the same time, when mankind fulfills its responsibility, God is tremendously joyful. God was happy. God was happy in Jesus. When Jesus going to the cross, God was happy. He knew that he knew that Satan could not understand that. I mean, Jesus, he thought that Jesus is just an ordinary person. Jesus willingly went to the cross. He willingly was crucified. But he said that he will come back again. So when he comes back again, he will reveal all this. And that's what we see that it is being revealed in the divine principle. So anybody can study the divine principle and understand God's purpose, God's will to set this kingdom of heaven on earth. The kingdom of heaven on earth is not going to come as magic. We got to build it. We got to understand. It doesn't happen. No, it doesn't. It may not happen in our generation. We cannot skip, but we can build it. We can build it on a family level. We can build it on a tribal level. We can build it on a societal level. We can build it on a national level. That is why God is seeking a nation. And the nation that we have today is called the Chongilguk nation. The Chongilguk nation is a wonderful nation that we hope to build by being absolutely united in love and in truth. So this is what we desire to have: God's will on earth, God's kingdom on earth. I mean, you think of how much God has gone through. I hope that people understand the meaning of Christmas. Yeah, we could rejoice in Christmas. We should rejoice in Christmas. But at the same time, we've got to deeply repent for Christmas and really get to our spiritual roots in Christmas, not just celebrating, just like be just enjoy the material wealth, the material. Yes, it's a season of giving. It's the one day of the year that we celebrate, that we dedicate ourselves for the Messiah, the Christ, who is to come to redeem us, to give us life, and to separate us from Satan. But we can only be separated from Satan is only if we believe and have faith in Jesus and follow his commandments, follow his will, and be obedient to his commandments, and pray to him, talk to him. This is how our lives can improve. It doesn't mean that we need to build castles and every material thing. Like it says that Jesus said, he said, you can make castles, you can build things, and all that will get rotten in the money and things. Thieves will rob it, and you know get. First, you have build treasures in heaven that no thief or nobody can rob it. Talk about the truth, understand the truth, define the truth, and 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 create and help God to build the kingdom of heaven and help him to separate from Satan. This is the whole idea of it, to separate from Satan. Satan is real. It's not he's not he's not everything like that, like we say. We think that hey, Satan is a person with the pitchfork and looking very gruesome. No, sometimes Satan is like he could be like in a suit and a tie, like a gentleman, like Shakespeare says. Satan is like in a gentleman suit. So this is this is a reality that we face. We face it. We have so much deception on it. So we got to understand that spirituality is so important in our lives of faith. So I hope the Christmas will bring joy and reflection and a deep sense of gratitude to God who had prepared for so many years. We can't even count the years that He had prepared a nation to send the Messiah. And unfortunately, the nation could not understand and could not understand the internal meaning of Christmas. Internal meaning they desired to kill him, and they killed him in a gruesome murder, and we see the consequences today. So thank you very much for listening. I hope I could give more podcasts like this on the topic of restoration, the topic of how God is working in history, and combine this unification thought. This is actually Reverend Moon's thought, not my thought, and this is what I understand from the principle, and clearly put it out for many people to understand. So thank you very much, and God bless you, and please have a blessed Christmas.